It's the first virtual weekend of the 2021 Noble CrossFit Games semifinals as we are through one event at the Brazil CrossFit Championship. Sean Woodland and Annie Sakamoto here with you as the top two men, women, and teams from this semifinal looking to advance to the 2021 Noble CrossFit Games in Madison, Wisconsin. We start on the men's side with your top seeds out of quarterfinals. Nicolas Bidarte is a guy who has been training in the United States with some pretty good athletes.
Right, he has been training with the Underdog Athletics crew, and I think that's a huge advantage, besides the fact that he was third in the 2018 regionals and he has a ton of sanctionals appearances. So looking at this array of gentlemen, I think he stands a great chance to be one of those two qualifiers.
Event number one for the individuals, Friendly Fran. We saw this event at the 2020 CrossFit Games in part one, the virtual part. 21 thrusters, 21 chest to bar pull-ups, 3 rounds, 85 pounds for the women, 115 pounds for the men. Let's get it down to South America for our first featured matchup, and we start with the box assignments presented by CBDMD.
Brazilian CrossFit Championship Event 1. This is the semifinal for South America. You're looking at 6 of the 30 competitors in this semifinal. Nicolas Bidarte, top left corner of your screen, is the #1 seed. As we begin here, it is Friendly Fran. 3 rounds for time, 21 thrusters, 21 chest to bar pull-ups. You will see a red bar progress atop the top of each of these 6 boxes. That lets you know each of these athletes' progress. Friendly Fran, though, Tommy, that's kind of a misnomer. There's nothing friendly about this.
Yeah, it only highlights Dave Castro's twisted sense of humor in programming this, and it showed up at stage 1 of the CrossFit Games last year, and like we've seen so many times before, programming from the games tends to trickle down to the other stages of competition, and now we get to see it in this virtual semifinal, and going to determine some of the athletes that actually get to go to the games this year.
Nicolas Bidarte, the #1 seed. He was third at the Latin American Regional back in 2018. Agustin Richelme, though, beats him to the chest to bar. And Tommy, you'll notice both men are in the top left and bottom right boxes.
Yeah, the top 2 ranked athletes out of Argentina. Bidarte is living in Las Vegas, but wasn't sure about the restrictions for traveling in case they did a live event. Decided to team up with his Argentinian countrymen and figured they'd do the events side by side and try and push each other to a games spot.
Gui Malheiros is the other interesting guy to watch here, and he looks like he is setting the early tempo. Lower left corner, you might know him from being a podium finisher as a teenager at the CrossFit Games, and he's having no trouble just motoring at his own pace here.
Guy's always known for his top-end strength, and he's got the skill. He's got the requisite barbell strength, but one of the things that everyone from Brazil has been looking for him to establish is the engine and the motor to tie all of those different things together to really ascend to be the man in South America. So an event like this, Classic CrossFit Couplet, performing well would be a great sign.
Differences here between Friendly Fran and regular Fran, of course, chest to bar instead of regular pull-ups. You're looking at 18 reps more on the thrusters and the pulling motion, and then 20 pounds additional on that barbell. 115 for the men, 85 for the women. Almost synchronized here between Bidarte and Richelme down in Argentina. Top left, bottom right boxes.
And coming into this third round is really when the event kind of quote-unquote really begins. Everyone stays relatively unbroken here, relatively smooth in their pacing, but as you start to get the heart rate up, things start to fall apart as you toe the red line just a little bit. Who can hold on to the barbell and the pull-up bar to really dig into their pockets a little bit more and pull out a little extra fitness?
Keep your eyes on those red lines at the top of each of these boxes. That is the progress bar to tell you who is in the lead. Richelme and Malheiros are very close neck and neck as they work through these 3 rounds of 21 thrusters, 21 chest to bar pull-ups.
And that's
Anderon
the first break
Primo,
from Richelme.
Slowed down, top middle.
Interesting enough, Joel, Richelme put the bar down, gave the lead up to Malheiros. Malheiros put the ball down, gave the lead back to Richelme, so they're kind of seesawing back and forth here for the overall lead.
If only they could see one another. As Richelme drops the bar, he is back to his final round of chest to bar pull-ups here. He is well in front of Malheiros. This will come down to whether or not he can make up some time on the rig, and look at him fly with these butterfly chest to bar.
Beautiful technique here, really keeping hips, knees, ankles all together in a nice tight kip.
And Richelme breaks.
That could be costly. It doesn't look like Guy's coming down.
21 chest to bar pull-ups. Gui Malheiros goes unbroken. That earns him the event win as far as we can tell from these 6 competitors. 6 of the 30 going here at the Brazilian CrossFit Championship. And it's a 2-second difference for Agustin Richelme right behind him.
And it came down to that one drop that he had to break on the pull-up bar. Gui managed to stay up and stay unbroken. Little details like that make all the difference in such a close race.
Ben Gutierrez out of Chile, top right corner of your screen, former teenage competitor at the CrossFit Games, said that this would be the spiciest event of the weekend as he finishes in, well, it's going to come down to the wire between he and Bidarte. 3rd place for Gutierrez, a 1-second difference between he and the number 1 seed at the Brazilian CrossFit Championship.
And Bidarte had to switch to a C kip. It's a little bit more efficient, but it's slower. And so ultimately that was the difference maker in him having to slow down his pace on the final few reps.
And then Julian Serna, the 37-year-old master competing for Colombia out of Miami, Florida. He is in 5th place, 3 seconds ahead of Anderon Primo, the number 2 seed here in Event 1.
Agustin Richelme and Gui Malheiros found themselves in a vicious Fran-off, both going unbroken through 2 rounds, with Richelme in the lead until he breaks on the thrusters. Malheiros takes the lead briefly before he drops the barbell. Richelme jumps back to the front but just can't hang on during the final pull-ups, and that break was huge for Malheiros, who went unbroken, full send on the final 21 chest to bar, and narrowly edges out Richelme for the win.
Gui Malheiros 3:40 by 2 seconds over Richelme as 4 men go inside of 4 minutes. There's a tie for 7th place between Piero Gorachon and Maximiliano Arigossi, and Arigossi spoke with Fabio Brokovic following Event 1.
Maximiliano from Argentina is here with us tonight, right?
Yeah, sure. Hi, Fabio. How are you?
I'm great. How about you?
Awesome.
So let's talk about the event number 1, Friendly Friend. My question is, how unfriendly was Friendly Friend?
I was about to say that. Nothing friendly about that workout. It's short, but it's not friendly at all. It's extremely hard. I think, at least I felt it that way. That workout hit me not during the workout, but after. I mean, the first 2 rounds were great. I was doing awesome. The last round was a bit hard, of course, but when I finished 20 minutes past the workout, I was still suffering. My throat was still burning. My chest was pounding. And I talked to other athletes, and they felt it the same way. That hits hard.
This might be one of the most inappropriately named events ever. There is nothing friendly about this, and in typical Fran fashion, you feel this for a while.
Fran cough.
Yeah.
We've all had it. We
It's
all
a
know
legit
just
thing.
that scraping feeling in your throat for minutes, if not hours on end afterwards. So we can relate.
Yes. Let's go over to the women's side and take a look at the top seeds coming in out of the quarterfinals. And Larissa Cunha and Melina Rodriguez are going to be continuing the battle between Brazil and Argentina that started in the quarterfinals.
And I really think that the battle for first place is going to be between these 2 ladies. So Cunha had all top 5 performances in the quarterfinals, where Melina, on the other hand, is a 3-time Games competitor, twice as an individual, and once on the team. So I think the battle for first is really going to come down to those 2 ladies.
Back down to South America for our featured matchup for the women, and we begin with the box assignments presented by CBDMD.
Brazilian CrossFit Championship Event 1. This is the semifinal for South America. Annie Sakamoto and Joel Cadet. These are 6 of our 30 competitors in this first event. 6 of the top ones we're keeping an eye on, including the number 1 seed overall. That's Larissa Cunha in the top left corner of your screen. Games veteran Melina Rodriguez, top middle as well. Keep your eye on the red bar that will progress atop each of these boxes as well. That's the progress bar. Lets you know who is in the lead. Here for Friendly Fran, Annie Sakamoto, it's 3 rounds of 21 thrusters and 21 chest to bar pull-ups. Why is this about to hurt?
Well, that slightly heavier bar, it'll be really interesting, Joel, to see if or when these girls take a break. 65 pounds is one thing, but 85 pounds is another. And you see Victoria Campos, the first one to take what looks like a purposeful break on that bar.
Difference here between
goes unbroken.
Difference here between regular Fran and friendly Fran. Of course, 18 additional reps between the chest to bar instead of regular pull-ups and the thrusters, and then the additional 20 pounds, 115 for the men and 85, as Annie alluded to here, for the women.
And again, even on the pull-ups, so while these girls are just absolute ninjas on pull-ups, there's probably a lot of them that are going to take some purposeful breaks early on. Larissa Cunha not being one of those ladies. She's already back to that barbell.
Larissa Cunha is somebody who wants to go to the CrossFit Games, had herself a spot last year until things were reorganized because of COVID protocols. So Larissa is trying to chase down what was in her fingertips a year ago. Melina Rodriguez cruising through those thrusters. Luiza Marques is a former 3-time Teen Games athlete, top right corner of your screen, out of Brazil. She's competing in this competition in the United Arab Emirates at the moment. But she is the only Brazilian to ever go to the Teen Games 3 times.
Interesting, you saw Larissa actually take a purposeful break on this second set of thrusters. It looked like a purposeful break. She really set that bar down. It didn't look like she failed. Whereas all these other ladies took a break in that first round and are obviously taking a couple breaks on the second round.
Annie, Larissa was really purposeful in how she went to the rack as well. She does break up this set of chest to bar, but took her second, gathered herself, didn't just jump right back up onto that bar, trying to pace herself even in that round.
It's like you were saying, Joel, those 18 extra reps, when you're doing normal Fran and the reps go down, it's much easier mentally to go unbroken. When those reps stay the same, besides being a physical challenge, it's a real mental challenge to not having the descending rep scheme.
Closing in on 3 minutes here in friendly Fran. Is that the hardest part of this, Annie, is the mental aspect of the fact that the reps aren't going down?
I think so. That burn starts to happen, at least in regular Fran. When you're on that second round, you know that the nines are pretty much inconsequential. But in this, you have 21 reps to do again and then again. And I think mentally, that's just really tough. You can see Victoria Campos, her tempo's really kind of slowing down on those pull-ups. She's walking a lot slower to the bar right now. But Cunha, so impressive, already back to the bar for the last set of pull-ups.
Closing in on 3.5 minutes here for friendly Fran. Cunha is your clear leader, your number 1 seed at the Brazil CrossFit Championship as well, this semifinal for South America. And it's not even that somebody's on her heels. Larissa Cunha is done at 3 minutes and 43 seconds, and there is no one else in this heat on the pull-up bar.
Right. You saw Melina Rodriguez take a really long break before picking up the bar here. That's the sign that this is so much more taxing than these ladies may have expected. Even those purposeful breaks on the early side might not have been enough to stave off the fatigue they're feeling right now.
Sasha Nievas was the second one to the pull-up bar here after Larissa Cunha has finished first of these 6 athletes, 6 of the 30 competing here in this semifinal.
And it looks like Alexia Williams is about to finish up here. She's on hopefully what'll be her last set of pull-ups.
So Sasha Nievas is done. 4:34, that is second in this heat, so to speak. Bottom right corner, Alexia Williams, Annie, as you were talking about, looks like she could be next. Bottom left, but Melina Rodriguez, the Games veteran, hot on her heels.
Right.
And a break for Williams could cost her.
Yep, and it's always just those last couple of reps. Oh, there it is. I think she had about 3 reps left, and she just got stuck on that pull-up bar.
Melina Rodriguez, though, does get in ahead of her. So it's a 3-second difference between Rodriguez and Alexia Williams, and now it comes down to Campos and Marques here at the end of this heat. These 6 athletes. Campos is done at 5:14, and it is 5:18 for the former teen sensation, Luiza Marques.
Strategies and muscles are both stronger when they're flexible, and Larissa Cunha showed us why with how she tackled event 1. First round, unbroken. Second round, 1 break each on the thrusters and pull-ups, and in the final round, she goes for broke and holds on for dear life to stay unbroken on her final set of pull-ups to set the best time in Brazil and second fastest time ever, only 3 seconds back of Tia Claire Toomey's winning time from stage 1 of last year.
Larissa Cunha, the only woman to go sub-4, 3:43 to win event 1 and put herself atop the overall leaderboard after one event. Melina Rodriguez, she finishes 6th with a time of 4 minutes 59 seconds. So Cunha taking round 1 in the battle between the two of them. And Fabio Brokovic caught up with Larissa Cunha after her performance in Friendly Fran.
Larissa Cunha, I'm here with
Hello.
Larissa Cunha. Hey, how are you doing?
I'm fine. And you?
I'm great. I'm doing great. Well, you have a lot of work to do this weekend, so I want to thank you for taking some of your time to be with us here today. And I want to start off saying, because I know you're one of the athletes who really wanted to compete in person, but unfortunately, we're doing this online. How much did all this affect your strategies, your planning coming to the competition?
So I was expecting a lot to compete in presential, in person, and because the last time that I competed in Brazil, it was in 2019 at the BCC, at the Brazil CrossFit Championship, but as a team and as individual, my last competition here in Brazil, it was in 2018, so I was expecting a lot to compete in person.
One event down and things going pretty much as expected with the favorites on top of the overall leaderboard early.
Right, with Larissa Cunha, she has really improved so much in the last few years. In fact, she was the best South American female in both the Open and the quarterfinals this year. And then Gui Malheiros, no surprise there. He's been to the games once as an individual, once as a team, as a teen. And then, I think it's safe to say he is the best South American male Olympic lifter out there.
Plenty of coverage still to come throughout the weekend of all the virtual action going on in the 2021 Noble CrossFit Games semifinals. We'll also have recaps from events 1 and 2 from the German and the Lowlands throwdowns. Also have a recap from event 2 from the Brazil CrossFit Championship. And we will keep you updated on everything going on with the teams. That's going to do it for us. For Annie Sakamoto, I'm Sean Woodland. Continue checking out all of our coverage for the 2021 Noble CrossFit Games virtual semifinals.